Hello everyone, Posey here. Welcome to the continuation of the greatest story ever written, the absolute pinnacle of storytelling, Vince Gilligan's latest masterpiece. That's right, this is the second installment of the Novel AI Space Nazis series. So basically, for some context, Novel AI is a program that lets you input parts of a story and tries to continue the story itself based on your prompts over and over and over again. Back in September, I used it to generate the first part of this story, Rise of the Space Nazis, and now it's time for the grand, long-awaited sequel, Reign of the Space Nazis. Let's jump right in. The entire universe is in danger. Hitler has returned, and he has pledged to conquer the galaxy. The Nazis have secured control of Jupiter and have a gravity beam. After defeating the Emperor of Ganymede, his former ally, Hitler has taken over Ganymede as its new emperor and become the most powerful person in existence. The United Nations calls a meeting on Earth to figure out what to do. But before they can make any plans, the Nazis launch their first attack on Earth. They're planning on taking it by force. The only question is, how long will it take them? Meanwhile, Admiral Halsey finds herself being forced to work with her old enemy, General Almeida, and she discovers that someone from another branch of the military is sabotaging Operation Overlord. Will Halsey find a way to stop this traitor before it's too late, or will the world be doomed forever? And just like that, we see Novel AI's masterful writing in action. The program has forged new compelling characters from scratch, right out of thin air. Well, actually, to be fair, it's more like it sifted through its catalog of inputs from previous writers, but that's just a minor distinction, really. Also, I like how Operation Overlord is happening again, but in space, because, why the fuck not? If we're gonna have space Nazis, we need space Nazi killers. We need space patriots, goddammit. We even need space Soviets. Wait, holy shit, that's it. Fully automated luxury gay space communism, hell yeah! In the meantime, the people of Ganymede are not happy about Hitler being their new emperor. No shit, I would not be either. The original emperor, Ganymede, is also not happy now that he's in prison after losing his boxing match with Hitler. He escapes from his cell, but the guards quickly recapture him. It seems like things could get worse for the people of Ganymede when the Nazis capture Emperor Mede's son, Prince Victor, who was visiting his father at the time. However, Victor manages to escape on a ship called the Valkyrie. I just think it's so funny how Ganymede's leader is canonically decided by who can win a boxing match. Like, the UN could just drop in Floyd Mayweather and instantly win the war. Emperor Mede must have been an absolute senile fossil of a man to have lost because Hitler is a weak little piece of shit. Even fucking Jake Paul would be able to take him down. Just an easy victory right there. Meanwhile, Admiral Halsey has been ordered to work with General Almeida. She reluctantly agrees because she knows that without her help, the mission might fail. But once they meet up with each other, Halsey begins to realize that something else is going on. Almeida is acting strange and has brought a woman named Elena to the meeting. Elena is Almeida's lover, and she is pregnant with his child. Although Halsey does not like General Almeida, she is a good person and therefore she congratulates both him and Elena for this. Then she gives them some advice. She tells them to have children. They're already heeding that advice. Halsey just told them to do the thing they're already in the process of doing. Next thing you know, she's gonna walk up to Billy Mitchell and advise him to start cheating to win at video games. Absolutely fantastic advisory skills, completely unmatched. Before they go back to base, Halsey and Almeida visit the memorial honoring all of the soldiers who lost their lives during the Battle of Jupiter. While there, Halsey sees an inscription on one of the statues. "To our brave warriors whose sacrifice gave us freedom." Halsey realizes that the inscription was written by General Almeida. This is why he wanted to talk to her. He wants to enlist her help so that he and Elena can continue the fight on behalf of humanity. Halsey doesn't want to help him, but she soon realizes that she cannot let him die alone. God, that came out of nowhere. First it's revealed that Almeida's lover is pregnant, and then it's revealed that he's dying. That's some insane tonal whiplash. The twists and turns of the story, man. What an epic narrative. General Almeida explains to Halsey that he is currently suffering from a disease known as terminal ligma, meaning he will perish soon anyway, and he wants to die in battle against the Nazis instead. Halsey, however, refuses to help him. If anyone should be allowed to die in battle, it should be a soldier who has fought for his country. Halsey tries to leave, but Almeida stops her. He tells her that if she truly believes that no one should be allowed to die in battle, then she must help him. And she does. Well, that was an incredibly confusing paragraph. My mind is thoroughly boggled. My synapses have been tied into a fucking knot. Let me get this straight. Halsey, who initially does want to help Almeida, suddenly doesn't want to help him anymore because by her logic, only soldiers who have fought for their country should die in battle. Even though Almeida is not only a soldier, but a general. Then Almeida tells her that if she believes no one should be allowed to die in battle, which is completely twisted from what she said in the first place, she must help him, so Halsey magically changes her mind again? That's not a coherent conversation, it's a fucking Twitter argument. Is that the shit they've been feeding this AI? Good God. Almeida and Halsey lead a team to Jupiter where they find Hitler's stronghold. The two women face off against the Nazi forces led by Major Kurtz and Colonel Stauffer. Novel AI can't seem to decide what gender Almeida is, so I'm just gonna say he's gender fluid and identifies differently depending on the occasion, but is usually a man. I love it when the AI being inconsistent accidentally turns into the AI being progressive. Props. Almeida and Halsey manage to defeat them, but they are still outnumbered. They decide to split up the team into smaller groups and to send them to different areas of Jupiter to combat the Nazis on their own. Each group has a different goal. One group is sent to rescue Princess Diana, while the others are sent to destroy the gravity beam. I like how Princess Diana, of all people, is just inexplicably in the story now. What an insane reveal. It's like a Marvel post-credit scene teasing the next installment with a brand new comic book character finally coming to the big screen, but in the middle of the story. The group that goes to rescue the princess manages to succeed. Princess Diana reveals that Hitler made a secret pact with the British royal family in the 1990s. The royal family faked Diana's death, so Hitler's secret Nazi forces could kidnap her and one day use her as a bargaining chip. Horrified, Admiral Halsey thinks back to when the United Kingdom tried to stop the United States from sending military planes to Jupiter to fight the Nazis. She realizes this must have been the royal family's doing. The royal family has been working with the Nazis the entire time, meaning the forces of Earth have a spy on their hands. Absolutely fucking wild, the way the plot is just unraveling in front of our very eyes. There's more twists and turns here than there are in a bowl of spaghetti, and the way it lines up is just beautiful. Bravo, Vince, you've done it again! Meanwhile, Almeida's group reaches the gravity beam and destroys it. But just as they're finishing their job, they are attacked by German forces. The two women manage to hold them off long enough for the rest of their teams to arrive. Together, they successfully destroy the rest of the Nazi forces in the area, but Hitler escapes to a backup stronghold. Now it's up to Halsey and Almeida to track down Hitler again and finish the job. The two women head to the new headquarters, which is located inside of the planet's core. I'm just imagining Halsey and Almeida and all their troops traveling through the stormy atmosphere of Jupiter on their way to the Nazi base in the planet's core to take down Hitler. That's a scene worthy of the Giga Chad music being played in the background. And not just that, the orchestral version of the Giga Chad music goes so incredibly hard. Meanwhile, many of the people of Ganymede decide to join the rebellion, led by General Callisto. The rebellion first formed to take down Emperor Mede and bring democracy to Ganymede, but since Hitler has now become the new emperor, their focus has switched to getting rid of him. General Callisto sends one of his generals, General Maelstrom, to negotiate with Admiral Halsey. Maelstrom, on Callisto's behalf, suggests a full alliance with Earth against the Nazis. He wants to give everything to the rebels in exchange for their help. Halsey refuses to negotiate with him, saying that she is not here to be anyone's slave. Now that's an Uno reverse card moment if I've ever seen one. Callisto quite literally offers everything to Halsey. His troops, his power, his house, his car, the debts he still hasn't repaid to the loan sharks, even the Bored Ape NFTs he bought last year and kept hoping they would one day be profitable somehow. And then Halsey claims this exchange will somehow end with her being the slave. Such a clever and smart story. Very intelligent writing. But just then, General Callisto arrives himself, along with his army. Halsey realizes that General Callisto is not on her side, but rather he is on the side of the Nazis. She realizes that she has fallen for a trick, and that General Callisto is just another traitor among many. General Maelstrom realizes that Callisto has been a traitor this entire time, and joins forces with Halsey to take him down in order to save the rebellion. I know the actual canon here is that Callisto has secretly been a Nazi agent from the beginning, but I also like the headcanon that he was so incomprehensibly pissed at Halsey for refusing his ridiculously self-destructive offer that he just gave up, abandoned his entire cost, and switched sides. I personally think that's way funnier. As Callisto prepares to unleash his power, Halsey uses the orbital platform to fire missiles at him. General Maelstrom and the rebels then use the remaining weapons to destroy the generator. Callisto is defeated even though he manages to survive the explosion. Callisto flees to reinforce Hitler in his stronghold. Maelstrom becomes the new leader of the rebellion, and promises to support Halsey in all coming conflicts. Halsey decides to stay on Ganymede and serves under General Maelstrom. Admiral Halsey returns to Earth. I love it when the story contradicts what it said in the very last sentence. What a talented AI. Unbelievable. The United Nations decides to hold an official ceremony to honor the sacrifices made by the soldiers during Operation Overlord. The space one, of course. At the ceremony, General Almeida is awarded the Medal of Honor, but Halsey is not present to accept it. Instead, General Almeida's mistress, Elena, accepts the award on his behalf. I just love how Almeida can't accept his own reward and has to have Halsey accept it for him, and then when Halsey isn't at the ceremony, he just gets his mistress to do it. No, because, how lazy do you have to be at that point? Just, accept it yourself. Meanwhile, Prince Victor and a contingent of soldiers loyal to him attempt to break his father, Emperor Mede, out of prison. But unfortunately for Prince Victor, the guards don't believe that he is his father, and they shoot him. Emperor Mede dies, and Victor mourns. Victor immediately orders the guards to imprison themselves as punishment. What an absolutely embarrassing moment. The baffling stupidity of these soldiers, I tell you, really putting the L in royal guards. Obviously, there's been times both in fiction and in real history where a leader or an important person is betrayed and killed by their own guards, but I've never heard of a guard killing their leader accidentally. I almost want to believe it was on purpose and they just lied and played dumb when Prince Victor got mad as if they genuinely believed they would somehow get out of this situation. It's like Starscream coming up with some ridiculously comically stupid plot to get rid of Negatron, carrying it out in front of everyone, and then shrugging his shoulders and saying, "Oops, I'm just a dumb fucking idiot. I can't believe I just did that." That's just, no, it never works. It's not the strat. Victor is now the heir to the throne of Ganymede and will ascend to become its emperor once Hitler is killed, or if he can defeat Hitler in a boxing match. Prince Victor vows to fight the Nazis until he either wins or dies trying. But first, he needs to train. Prince Victor trains with a man named Dickon. He teaches him all of the moves and techniques he learned from his father. The only way this could possibly be made better is if Hitler's trainer was named Dick Off, which would not only be a poetic contrast to the name of Victor's trainer, but also very relatable for neo-Nazis around the globe. Alas, it wasn't meant to be. Eventually, Victor is able to defeat Hitler in a boxing match. Hitler, however, uses his last bit of energy to activate an EMP weapon and render Ganymede's orbit useless. Now, Ganymede will never be able to return to the stars. The entire moon of Ganymede collapses into Jupiter, but not before the civilians evacuate to other nearby moons. The Empire of Ganymede still exists, but its homeland has been destroyed. I can't fucking get over how novel AI keeps giving the Nazis random access to super powerful weapons to spice up the story, because if you'll remember in Rise of the Space Nazis, which comes before this, they were given a gravity beam, and now they have EMP weapons that can destroy celestial orbits. What's next? Luftwaffe planes firing out fucking stars? Galaxy guns? A goddamn black hole bazooka? Jesus Christ. There is one more chapter left in this series. It will start with Princess Diana returning home to Earth with Admiral Halsey. They will come back to find the Nazis having already conquered America. They will learn that Hitler has contacted the world leaders and convinced them to join him in his conquest of the whole galaxy. The United States government has decided to surrender after realizing that they are unable to compete with the Nazis' superior military. Meanwhile, the Nazis have established themselves as supreme rulers on Earth. I swear to God, novel AI keeps licking those disgusting, grimy Nazi boots for whatever reason. It just constantly awards them victories. I turn away for 1 second and Hitler is suddenly God Emperor of the entire human civilization. It's like the collective wet dream of half the Hearts of Iron player base. Holy shit. However, not every country has bowed down to them. Although Vladimir Putin has passed away, with the news reporting that he shot himself in the back of the head with a hunting rifle 3 times and fell down his stairs into a pool of acid, the Russian government has since been cooped by a vehemently pro-democracy and anti-Nazi faction. The new president of Russia, Nikolai Sabatov, is determined to stand against the Nazis and shelters Halsey and Diana. He also helps them find a way to secretly contact General Almeida, who is currently fighting the Nazis on Mars. Honestly, my first thought when I read that was this one Doom cover that goes incredibly hard, and now I'm picturing General Almeida in this position in my head, and it's fucking awesome. What a crowd pleaser. Halsey is shocked to see that Almeida is alive. She had assumed by now he either would have passed away from his terminal ligma or died in battle against the Nazis. But it seems like Almeida is still very much alive. While Halsey and Diana are communicating with General Almeida, they also learn that Princess Diana is pregnant with his child. Halsey is surprised to hear this. After all, Diana has never even met him yet. What a mind-blowing reveal, an utterly flabbergasting subversion of expectations so masterful it could make Rian Johnson cry tears of joy. Now I hope you're prepared, because we're about to read the most insane exposition dump you've ever read. However, Diana explains to Halsey that she and General Almeida are soulmates. When they were both young girls, they both used to play with an old telescope. It was an antique that belonged to their grandfather, But one day, Diana found herself falling in love with the telescope. She became obsessed with it and spent hours staring through it, hoping to see whatever was on the other side. One day, she did indeed see something on the other side, although she didn't know what it was. It seemed like it was a person, but the person turned out to be a man wearing a black robe and a mask. He told Diana that she couldn't have the telescope any longer and to put it away. Diana complied, but she continued to stare at the telescope anyway. Years later, both of them went on to study astronomy. Diana took over her grandfather's telescope, while Almeida found a similar one that wasn't broken. They discovered that the telescope actually belonged to a man named Dr. Arno Dorian, the brother of General Callisto. Dorian had gone to the stars and he was looking for the last piece of the puzzle, which is how the universe began. But he never came back. No one knew what happened to him, and everyone assumed he was dead. Anyway, it turns out that Diana became pregnant with Almeida's child shortly before the royal family faked her death and the Nazis took her hostage. The Nazis froze her in carbonite, and only recently released her. And now she's pregnant with the child of a man she barely knows and has never met. If you thought none of that made any sense, I promise it did. You're just a small-brained, smooth-brained dolt. You clearly just can't understand accurately the narrative glory of Reign of the Space Nazis. Shame on you, you pitiful casual consumer. Shame on you. Halsey can hardly believe what she's hearing. She thinks that this is all too strange, and asks Diana if she's sure about this story. Diana insists that she's telling the truth. Halsey believes her, but she still thinks it's all very strange. Meanwhile, no one has heard from Hitler in a while. After losing his second boxing match to Prince Victor of Ganymede, Hitler detonated an EMP wiping out large swaths of the empire and escaped. Victor, now Emperor of Ganymede since he beat Hitler in the boxing match, sends his troops to hunt Hitler down. Victor also reaches out to General Maelstrom and the rebels. Victor strikes a deal with the rebels, promising that he will reduce his power to be purely ceremonial and allow Ganymede to become a republic after the war is won. This will prevent future clashes between Victor's forces and the rebels. In return, the rebels agree to work with Victor against the Nazis. And of course, Halsey is still on Earth. The United Nations has completely surrendered to the Nazis. Even the American president has been captured and imprisoned. Very few countries still fight on. I love how the AI just keeps reminding me that yes, in fact, the Nazis own the world, as if I hadn't figured that out already. As if I'm just a fool. Oh golly gee, I didn't notice that the first 100 times you pointed it out. Thank you, novel AI. Very cool. Russia, where Halsey remains sheltered, is fighting with all their might. Switzerland, which has up until this point remained neutral in the conflict, has effectively transformed itself into a walled fortress to block off the entire outside world. Switzerland has avoided the carnage of the war. They have kept their borders closed and only let in refugees who are fleeing the war. Luxembourg, with its strong military, is another one of Earth's last few holdouts. Their current Prime Minister, Lux M. Burger, orders a military operation to liberate France. Luxembourg's armies marched into occupied France en masse, joining forces with local French resistance fighters and causing as much damage to the Nazis as they can. Meanwhile, in America, the Nazis continue to consolidate their control and build up their military. They have created a new organization called the Third Reich Party, TRP, and they are using it to spread propaganda and brainwash people to their way of thinking. TRP members go around to different regions preaching about how the world should be ruled by one dictator and that people should live under strict rules and regulations. If you disobey these laws, you will be punished accordingly and harshly. At one TRP presentation, a member of the audience waits for the speaker to conclude his speech, then stands up and shows him a poster with the nerd emoji drawn on it to make fun of him. The speaker is so offended that he tries to shoot the man, but his gun runs out of bullets. The guy then grabs the microphone and begins to rant about how people need to be obedient to the law, and that he will punish anyone who doesn't follow it. Because the speaker's gun malfunctioned, the audience members decide to take the opportunity and run onto the stage, where they surround the speaker and force him to watch the Star Wars Christmas special. Truly a fate worse than death. Meanwhile, Halsey contacts General Almeida. He is training for his upcoming boxing match against Hitler. Almeida tells Halsey that he has developed a powerful punch that will destroy Hitler's arm. We have finally fucking done it. We've reached regular show levels of power scaling. Almeida is preparing a punch so strong it will destroy Hitler's entire arm, but somehow not kill him. Absolutely brilliant. I think this was the solution we all needed. The question is though, will this succeed? For the answer, we're gonna have to wait a little longer. The final installment, Fall of the Space Nazis, is soon to come, to wrap up this epic and amazingly compelling trilogy. Stay tuned everyone, it's gonna be insane. For now, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.